Good evening. Happy summer. I would like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, Mrs. Burns, please.
Mrs. Hallenbeck?
Present.
Mr. Cirillo?
Here.
Mr. Allen?
Present.
Mrs. Bowman is absent with prior notice. Mr. Kovitz?
Here.
Mrs. Lafferty is also absent with prior notice. Mr. Rodriguez?
Here.
Mr. Sporny?
Here.
And Mr. Sullivan.
Present.
We have a quorum. Thank you. Will everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. The board met in executive session this evening prior to this meeting to discuss matters of employment, issues related to labor relations, the purchase or lease of real property, matters related to litigation, and matters related to school safety and security. Any announcements, Mrs. Burns?
No announcements.
Superintendent's report, Mr. Bowman.
Thank you, Ms. Allenbach. Just a couple quick things. Neshaminy Summer Stock Program wrapped up our 56th season last weekend. They staged 3 shows, Mamma Mia for grades 7 to 12, Finding Nemo Jr. for grades 4 to 6, and an original musical show based on fairy tales for our youngest performers in grades 2 through 3. We had 273 students participate in the program this year. They held 13 public performances over 5 days. Quality of shows and the talent on display was absolutely amazing, especially considering they only had just over 3 weeks to build sets, program lighting and sound, prepare costumes, sell tickets, and rehearse. Audience turnout was excellent with several sellouts, and thank you to our Summer Stock staff, musician, parent volunteers, and the community for making this program an absolute success year after year. I know we had some of our board members in attendance. I think they'll agree that it was really a great show this year. Also at the high school, the football team held their annual youth sports camp during the week of July 10th through the 14th. Girls soccer team held their youth camp the following week. Both were held on the new multi-purpose field at the high school. Our fall sports begin on August 14th. Many of our teams in the marching band have had preseason workouts and practices during the next couple of weeks leading up to that. And finally, our 3-week summer pass program wraps up this week. We had 54 students from all 3 middle schools participate this year in confidence building and leadership program for 8th graders heading to the high school next month. Enjoyed many activities and field trips, including service learning project, building a butterfly garden for Salute to Service in Newtown, which is a military veteran support group. So that's all I have, Ms. Allenbach.
Thank you, Mr. Bowman. Does anybody signed up for public comment?
Yes, Patricia Taggett?
If you could just hit the button, say your name, area you reside.
Hi, I'm Patricia Taggart, and I live in Humeville, Pennsylvania.
And I'm Sandy Carroll, Humeville also. We're with the Humeville Conservation Committee. I'm not sure if you're aware of what's going on in Humeville about the hill that's being built. They're planning on building 120 homes on the property behind the firehouse, which our concerns are the safety, the safety of the children, and the traffic.
So what we're thinking about with the traffic is that because there's 120 residents just, what would that be, east? Just south of where Hoover is. So the delays that are going to be incurred getting people to and from school, pickups, drop-offs, it's going to be huge. If you have 120, probably you have 240, 250 cars. So that, I think, is going to be a huge impact. Also, the additional children that are going to show up for education and the tax on the district for that.
And the one entrance.
Yeah, and they're only going to have one entrance in and out of the place, and no light, no anything. So it's just using common sense to get in and out of Trenton Road. So we're just here to bring that to your attention and to see what you guys think. are you guys prepared to have that many children in the district, into Hoover?
Considering they're at capacity almost.
Yeah, that's what we've been told, they're at capacity, or one person shy of capacity. Do you guys have any questions? I'm much better at questions than just standing here talking. Do you have any?
Normally, to the end, but since you're here, I attended the first meeting with
I
the
remember you.
contractor.
Yep.
And I expressed our concerns as a district.
Yeah, it was very well spoken.
Excuse me, sorry.
No, take your time.
I can't say it was well received.
It was by us.
Yes.
Yeah, but you noticed that when I mentioned what we would prefer, he got a bit combative. And then now we've had another meeting and he's right back to the 3,000,
Yeah, because you
townhomes
were
and
talking
apartment
about the
complexes.
55 and over,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of approached him about it, and it's not zoned for that, so they can't do that.
I mean, they're not really, what we're in the process, for those who don't know, is a conditional use hearing. We're on our 5th conditional use hearing meeting. Had we not gotten together as a group of residents, this would have been one meeting, and it would have went right through. So the fact that you were there was amazing, but this Thursday at 7 PM will be the 5th meeting. We have now,
Thursday.
this Thursday, tomorrow, or 2 days?
2 days.
So, at 7 PM, and we have just started to give our side of, we had to hire an engineer. The engineer says that the retention ponds, and granted, none of this really pertains to you guys, but it's just information. Basically, what he's saying is that everything that he's put up doesn't really fulfill the application. The application shouldn't be granted. The retaining bases aren't gonna work because of the quality of the clay and where they're putting them, multiple things. This one entrance and exit, the fact that that Hoover's right there and getting children in and out, if there's an emergency, if there's not an emergency, people being delayed, school buses, kids who get taken by their parents personally. They haven't even been in contact, as far as I know, with you guys about, they're talking about making a connection between the development and the school of Hoover so that kids can walk there. But I know that you guys own that strip of land. They're actually planning, just a heads up, they're planning to put part of the parking lot for these apartments, because it's multi-dwelling apartments, townhomes, and single dwelling. They're planning on putting a parking lot right on the property that adjoins Hoover and you guys, right along there. So the way we see it, it's a huge impact to the school district. And for you guys to not know much about it, we just thought it'd be a good idea for us to come and say, hey, this is what's happening, and we're just hoping to do something to make it more manageable and make it not the wrong thing. And there's many other things that I'm not going to talk about that are going to be impacting, flooding being the major one for us right now, and taxes.
The board's concern would be, of course, like that, if they're planning on using part of our property, we would need to be involved in that.
Right.
But our concern mostly is children, education. Where are we going to put them out of this project? We're tight in a lot of places now.
Right.
And we're working on that, but,
Right.
that would impact the area.
Correct.
The other would be the traffic issues. That's where the district would be concerned.
Yeah.
Hopefully this Thursday, I may not be able to make it, but hopefully we'll have somebody who can represent our interests there.
That would be great. So there's this Thursday, and then they also think that there's going to be one more meeting after that in August, which I'm not remembering
We don't really know.
the date. I know it's in the teens somewhere in August. And that'll be the final meeting before they have 45 days
Right.
to make a decision. And we pretty much know where the council's going with it. So, but you were amazing when you were there on the first meeting. And very well spoken. And you said that he was a little bit, what was the term you used, aggressive, combative. Well, you're not the only person. It's not you, but every time we speak, we're condescended to, we're pushed. It's not pretty, but we're there to protect our homes. We know what just happened with the flooding up county and the tragic death of those people. We just don't want to, and I will stop.
I was
Thank
gonna
you.
say, no, thank you for bringing it to our attention,
you.
I mean, and
Thanks
we're-
for allowing me us the time. I know we're not on the agenda or anything, but thank you so much. I think it's important for you guys, for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving, let's see, where are we? I'd like to make a motion for 2.01 exonerations. Resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the attached exonerations for June, and there's one file attached. There's a motion on the floor. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sullivan. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 7-0. Personnel, 3.01, retirements, resignations, end of assignments. Resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the following retirements, resignations of administrative staff, and there is one name on the list. There's been a motion on the floor. May I have a second? Second by Mr. Rodriguez. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 7-0. Mr. Sullivan, please.
I'd like to make a master motion to approve item 4.01, retirements, resignations, end of assignments, 4.02, appointments, 4.03, leaves of absence, 4.04, ancillary appointments, 4.05, co-curricular appointments, and 4.06, ancillary resignation.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. There's a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please? Second by Mr. Allen. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 7-0. I'd like to make a master motion for 5.01, retirements, resignations, end of assignments, 5.02, appointments, 5.03, revised returns from leave. Oh, and that's it. There's a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please? Second by Mr. Kovitz. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 7-0. Mr. Rodriguez, please.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion for 6.01, an MOU, Lower Southampton SRL. Whereas the Public School Code of 1949 is amended at Section 617, grants authority to a school district to enter in agreements with other political subdivisions to provide for the safety and security of its students and to secure the services of a school resource officer who may be employees of other political subdivisions. And whereas the Neshaminy School District, the Township of Lower Southampton, and the Lower Southampton Police Department have agreed to the specific terms and conditions of the services to be performed and provided by an SRO set forth in the School Resource Officer Interagency Agreement. Now therefore be it resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the School Resource Officer Interagency Agreement with Lower Southampton Township and the Lower Southampton Police Department. Files are attached.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. There's been a motion on the floor. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sullivan. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 7-0. Mr. Cirillo, please.
I'd like to make a master motion to approve 6.02, Cardinal Point 2023 to 2026 contracted services, and 6.03, BCSSD professional service agreement for the 2023 to 2024 school year.
Thank you, Mr. Cirillo. There's a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please? Second by Mr. Kovitz. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 7-0. Mr. Kovitz, please.
I'd like to make a motion for 7.01, overnight trips. Whereas according to Board Policy Number 618, trips extending overnight are permitted by authorization of the Board of School Directors only. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the following overnight trips, and there is one, and I'm envious, it's to Rome, Italy.
Thank you, Mr. Kovitz. There's a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please? Second by Mr. Allen. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 7-0. That brings us to closing of the meeting. Is there any other board business anybody would like? Anybody, public comment from the public? Come back up. Any board comment? I'm sorry, Mr. Kovitz, before I start with you. Mr. Bowman, is there anything you would like to add? I'm sorry.
I have nothing else.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Kovitz, thank you.
All right, I'll keep it brief. I was one of the board members that went to Summer Stock, and every time I go, I'm blown away at how much these folks are able to accomplish. They are completely self-funded, and they sold out several nights in a row, and they should all be proud. Those kids did an amazing job. A lot of hard work and a lot of passion went into it, and they didn't disappoint. So just another feather in the cap for them, and just one for the school district. So we celebrate together. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Hollenbeck. Last meeting we had was right after the tech school graduation. I got distracted. I failed to acknowledge that I attended. And I wanted to congratulate the class of 2023 from Bucks County Technical High School. It's a fantastic ceremony over in the arena. It always rains, so we're always inside. It always works out for us. But it's always a nice, as I've said many a time, the asset of the tech school to our surrounding districts is inestimable. Inestimable. Is that the right word?
We know what you're talking about.
Thank you. English, second language, I guess here. I'm a mechanic. So it's always great to see the classes come through and all the different disciplines that are taught over there. And again, I just wanted to make mention of that. I didn't forget. Fantastic ceremony. Did a great job. Class 2023. Mamma Mia. I attended, my sisters and I attended. I was trying to count them up. This might be my 10th summer stock program. I'm not positive about that, or it's been 10 years either way, because there was COVID was in there. And I just want to say it's always nice to have my family next to me and to have them oohing and ahhing and praising it and know that in some small way I'm part of that. And that's nice to hear that we support that program in the district. Again, a fantastic show. I still have ABBA in my head. Honestly, it's a week later and it's still stuck in there. That's just how it goes. And I also wanted to thank the facilities and the activities personnel here in the district and all of our contractors for having the stadium ready for our graduation. That was, that was a worry all of us had from way back when we first started that project. We made promises to get that done. I just wanted to acknowledge the hard work that went into pulling that off. And that's all I have this evening. I hope everyone's enjoying their summer, and have a good night.
I just have to do, I'll be brief, I promise. My daughter was actually in the summer stock program and was in Mamma Mia, so ABBA's been in my head for like the last month. But anyway, it was a great program. Summer stock it's really good for the kids, for all levels. And I am aware of the new show that they're going to be doing for next summer. They're doing Mean Girls, which is kind of different. We'll talk about that later. But other than that, they are changing the levels of the grades for the programs, and I think there'll probably be more discussion on that as we move forward. Other than that, Cass did wonderful. Facilities that actually worked the event and took care of everything was exceptional, and I'd like to thank everybody that was involved. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to point everybody's attention to our future meetings. We do have a meeting on August 10th, which is the Facilities and Planning Committee. On the document, it says 7 PM. It is 6 PM? 6:30. 6:30 PM. 6:30. In this room, we will be discussing the building outside, as well as what's going on with the Pequesting addition, as well as the field house bids, so that we can finish the stadium to its grandeur as we expect it. And then the next regular board meeting is in this room on August 22nd at 7 PM. With that, I hope everybody is enjoying their summer, a couple weeks left. Although I believe football and band camp and everything else starts back up next week. So I hope everybody enjoys their last little bit of summer. With that, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Second by Mr. Sullivan. Have a great evening.